if you're really, really good at it, then you want to become the Amazon of mortgage. Because here's the thing, like, let's say you're dealing with somebody, they're going to be buying their own house and they could be an investor too, or a business owner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why not? So that customer is going to leave you to go to get a business loan somewhere else. Why not try to get the business loan from them too when they're, because they're going to be buying their house and he owns a business. Why not offer him a business loan too?
Yeah.
So that's my thinking that, he's going to go to some other lender. Why let him go to another lender? Why don't you try to capture the
Yeah.
customer?
Hey there, do you want to skip the trial and error in real estate investing? Visit my website, dwanderful.com. I will show you how to do double your income in no time at all.
A broke single mom fired from Denny's becomes America's most sought after real estate investor. How does that happen? Well, that's me, Dwan Benton Twyford, aka Dwanderful. But it doesn't stop there. I, along with some amazing guests, are going to teach you everything there is to know about investing. Listen, success is not exclusive. I can teach you, you can have it too. I can share with you. So I want you to join me for season 5 of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. Cheers. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I'm your host, Dwan Benton Twyford, also known as America's most sought after real estate investor. And I'm super excited that you are on the show today. As you can see, I have a guest, Angelo Christian, and we're going to talk about some super exciting stuff. But before we do that, I just want you to give you an opportunity to know us a little bit. Our motto at Dwanderful is people before profits. If that's something that resonates with you, I'm your girl. If you opt in at Dwanderful, DWANDERFUL, I'll send you a free ebook, Flip Your Way to a Fortune. So basically, I took my name Dwan and Wonderful and I made a new word. So we are in the world of Dwanderful today. So Angelo, how are you today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me in the wonderful world.
That's right. You are in the Dwanderful zone. It's like the Twilight Zone, but nothing bad ever happens at the end.
I like it. That's definitely what I want
like
to be
it
there.
too. So you have a drink. We always like to have a little toast.
I have espresso.
Cheers. Everyone, get your drink.
Yeah.
Have a drink.
And
everybody take a stretch.
Yeah,
take a breath and clear your minds and just get ready to have some fun with me and Angelo for the next little bit. And, if you're a regular listener, we're going to have fun and we're going to laugh and we're going to learn some fun things today. So, Angelo, we literally just throw you right up into the wolves. So, what I'd like you to do is tell us, Angelo Christian, how we get in touch with you, and in a sentence or two, what you do. And then I'm going to backtrack and ask questions to find out how you came to be Angelo Christian.
Yeah. So people can reach us. Obviously, our direct line is 832-431-6331. You can call or text our office. We're open 7 days a week. We're a nationwide commercial, residential, and hard money lender. So we do all three of those on a nationwide basis. And you can obviously call us. The other thing is, reach us out on the web. Our website is official, angelochristian.com. You can reach us there or on our social media. All of our handles. Like, we have a pretty good sized social media following, and that's how a lot of people get in touch with us, whether it's new subscribers or new customers. Angelo Christian Financials on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the main social media
Angelo
platforms.
Christian Financials.
Yep. That's the name of the company.
Fun. So I'm going to start following you today.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
And so normally, I know a lot of people they do tons and tons of research before they have a guest on. And I know that people send questions and their bios, but I actually just kind of like to find out what a person's like on my own and discover them. So people go, "Oh, you got to read this." I'm like, I don't read any of it. I want to find out about you, with just my own curiosity. But after I do a show, I follow everyone, and then I become super engaged with their audience. So the first thing that I love is that you do commercial and residential lending, and this is nationwide?
Yeah, and private lending too. Private lending is a big part of our business now too.
Okay. So if someone is new, like new to investing, what is
Uh-huh.
the difference between commercial residential lending and then private lending?
Yeah, that's a good question. And we deal with a lot of first time investors, first time buyers. Um, the biggest difference is obviously with, the distinction between commercial and residential, obviously, is the type of property that the borrower or the investor is going to be, borrowing against. Like, for
Mhm.
example, residential, like your home, 1 to 4 family, plain Jane type stuff.
Yeah.
And commercial could be, mobile home park, RV park, multifamily, assisted living, could be whatever, right? So that's zoned as legally zoned commercial. A restaurant, a veterinarian clinic, so stuff that is actually commercial. Now, private lending has emerged a lot in the last decade. And so what that is essentially where it's you could do it with residential or commercial,
Yep.
but underwriting guidelines and the requirements are a lot different. So, in other words, private lending is going to be more flexible underwriting to get a deal done.
Yep.
Because, for example, let's say that a guy, is 1099 and he can't document his income with tax returns and he does a lot of stuff. Well, a conventional lender is not going to take that because he gets, how he gets his income is very hard to document that. So a
Yep.
private lender, in theory, would be okay with that if the other metrics made sense, like, credit score, down payment, and stuff like that. And the guy can get a loan just using a 1099 statement. He doesn't need a tax return. So it's basically alternative finance or creative finance,
Mhm.
uh, for situations where they don't meet the cookie cutter box for conventional.
Yep. Now, see, I love that because I know that so many people want to get involved in real estate investing and nobody will give them any money because of what you said. They can't document all their stuff. So I'm a huge fan of any kind of private. That's why I wanted you to explain like private lending because some people might be their first time listening because people are, I teach workshops all over the
Yeah,
country really actively. Like we just did a giant 2-day workshop in Ohio, and people are like, oh, I don't have any money, I don't have any credit, I can't get started. It's like, but there are literally hundreds of thousands of people that will
yeah,
send you money.
that's true.
You can just document a few things and not you don't have to going through a bank is probably the worst way ever to
It's
get
hard.
money
It's
because
hard. Yeah.
shoot, man, you have to have crazy credit scores and all kinds of money. And if you have all that, you can just do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, what I think that it just depends on the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
Obviously, um, if you have a bank, like I will say that sometimes a bank, depending on like if you have a very good relationship, I think smaller community banks are
Yeah.
better. The big national banks are very hard to get money from. But yeah, private lending is a great way. I mean, now, and of course, there's still requirements, and there's going to be an adjustment in the interest rate slightly. But if it can still help to get the problem or the deal funded,
Yeah.
that's what's I mean, and a lot of the times the most important thing, you
Yeah.
know.
I
So
couldn't agree more because if someone's gonna buy anything, no matter what it is, if they're gonna like turn it over, they don't need the private money for that long. If they're gonna
mhm,
keep it, once they've had it for a while, a year or so, they can always go back and maybe refinance
yeah,
it or whatever. And people are
yeah,
like, oh, hard money lenders charge 12% interest. It's like, yeah, but just put that into your costs because if you
yeah,
don't get the loan, you're making zero.
right,
Who
right,
cares what interest rate? I don't care what interest rate is. I'm not gonna use that interest rate till the end of time.
yeah. No, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, and people um, that utilize private lending, like I have one client. He's probably worth maybe 200 million, $300 million,
Yeah,
and he refuses to work with banks. He only wants to do private lending, but he's very strategic with it, where he will, like for example, he does a lot of ground up development construction for spec homes.
Right.
He looks at it like, okay, if I'm paying 13%, but I'm making 32%, then obviously my net return is better. And and this guy does qualify for, he would qualify for bank financing, but he doesn't like dealing with the the invasive process, and then the and elongated turn time. Like a bank loan could take 2 to 3 months to close.
Oh yeah.
And private lending, you can get it done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So not all the time, but a lot of the time. So yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you want to, you're trying to do a fix and flip or ground up construction, or you're buying foreclosed properties or whatever, I mean, definitely private lending has its place for sure.
It does. It does. 'Cause I mean, like when I first started, I wouldn't be able to qualify for like a pack of gum, like for real. So a couple of my first houses, I used some hard money lenders. And
Yeah,
it's like, if these people hadn't given me a break,
right,
and it helps me. And then they knew I was really new, so they were good about giving me advice and giving me tips and stuff. I don't think I would have been able to start
right.
at
No, it's true.
all. And
True. I
now
mean,
I'm 35 years in.
wow. Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. Like we, like on our standard lending, for example, like we have, like, I mean, that's like the polar opposite. Let's say that, like, we deal with a lot of first time buyers that are people who are trying to buy their primary home. And like we have FHA down payment assistance programs. Like, a couple that just gets
Yeah.
married at their house, they wouldn't really want to use a private loan. That doesn't really make sense versus somebody that's trying to, is on a budget and they don't have money for a down payment. So, so we offer a lot of products like that too, where we get a lot of our clients will be able to buy their first home with no money down. So that's a huge thing that we also service to as well.
No, I like that. And then I think I asked earlier, but do you lend in the whole country?
Yes, we do.
You lend in the whole country. So
Yep.
now that how did you start off as a real estate investor and got into
Uh,
lending, or did you just step
uh,
into the
I,
lending world?
yeah, no, no. I started off. So my background is in finance, and so I started off working for a mortgage company when I was 22 years old. And at that time, it was in the subprime time, 2007, 2006. AmeriQuest Mortgage Company is where I started as a loan officer, and that's where I learned the business.
Yeah.
So, and I've stayed in mortgage my whole career, and built the business for what it is today. Just and then added these other silos to it. But I've always been on the mortgage side, whether it's mortgage
Yeah.
notes for people, investing. So yeah, I mean, I've always been on this side of the real estate game.
I used to have this mortgage broker. His name was Tom. I love Tom. And so way back, I would rehab houses. And then, you put them on the market, and I would do a little weekend open house. And I'm actually proud to say I've never had a rehab that's ever been on the market longer than 30 days.
Wow.
You get all these people like that want to do contracts and do this and that, and then you send them to the mortgage broker, and like they can't qualify for literally anything. So way back, and I know mortgage brokers probably don't do this today, but I gave all my deals. I worked with this guy named Tom. I say, listen, I'm gonna have a little open house just on Saturday. We're gonna do like balloons and make cookies, and I'm gonna give some wine. And I want you to come. And he'd come, and when someone walked in and wanted to make an offer or contract, he would take the time and run their credit and check them out for me before I ever
Wow.
signed any contracts. So
That's good.
after a while, so after a while you get like a little bolder in the things that you do in your business. So then I used to put a house on the market. I'd leave all because I'm busy now. I don't have time to do this stuff. I don't really want to use agents because I'm selling everything. So I would finish a rehab. I would open all the curtains in the entire house. I would leave all the lights on. And then when people would call me, I'd say, go to the house, drive by the house. If you like the house, call Tom. If Tom says you qualify for a mortgage, I'll show you the house. And people would get so mad. I'm not driving to that house and that. I say, hey, listen, I don't have time. Because when I started, we didn't have cell phones. So
Right.
if I go sit at a house and someone's coming and they're coming from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, and they don't show up, I'm sitting there and I don't know when I should leave. And I was
Yeah.
finally like, you know what? Screw that. My time is too valuable. So it certainly cut down on the people that would look at my houses, but the
Yeah.
ones that would do all that almost always bought it.
Ah,
So I was just like, I'm never showing you a house again. Here's what you have to do to buy this house. And
yeah.
I've had so many people yell at me, and I've had so many people stand me up. And then they call and go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was running late. And will you show it to me again?" It's like, no, I'm a freaking single mom. I'm not gonna go sit there for 2 hours and wait for you.
Yeah.
Because before cell phones and pagers and things like that,
Yeah.
if someone says they're on their way and then they don't come, you just sit. And you
Right.
sit, and like an hour goes by, like, well, do I leave? Do I stay? If I pull out, they're gonna pull in, and then I gotta do this again. So
Oh, that's
I
smart.
I am always tell people you need a real estate and investor friendly agent on your team, and you've got to have some kind of a mortgage broker, lender, somebody
Yeah.
on your team because you're gonna need money, whether it's buying something or you're gonna sell something retail. Someone's got to qualify these people.
Right. No, it's true.
You can't do this business without somebody in the mortgage industry on your team.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. I mean, and that's kind of why. So, and you know this, that a lot of mortgage companies, they specialize in one side of the business, whether it's residential or commercial or hard money. A lot of them don't do all three.
Yes.
Uh, One of the reasons why we expanded our product line, because we wanted to be, the one-stop shop where everybody could go. They could buy their new primary residence, with FHA or VA or conventional,
Yeah.
or they could also do a fix and flip hard money at the same time. And so we wanted to just be, the irresistible package, for our client, right? So yeah, I mean, we stay very busy, and all of our people are cross trained. They can underwrite a hard money loan, or they can underwrite a conventional loan. So we feel really happy about that.
You do. And you know that that's really a very small percentage of people that can lend across the board like that. You're
Yeah.
actually the first person, and I've had my podcast for 5 years. I've been having guests for like the last 3. You're the first
Okay.
person I've interviewed that does lending across the board.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of guests, and no one does lending across the board. So it's like, okay, that's a pretty significant thing.
Yeah. It takes a lot. It's not easy, but I think that for me, like, it's just my thought is, if you're really, really good at it and you want to become the Amazon of mortgage, then um, then you can, because here's the thing, like, let's say you're dealing with somebody, they're going to be buying their own house, and they could be an investor too, or a business owner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why not? So that customer is going to leave you to go to get a business loan somewhere else. Why not try to get the business loan from them too when because they're going to be buying their house and he owns a business. Why not offer him a business loan too?
Yeah.
So that's my thinking, that he's going to go to some other lender. Why let him go to another lender? Why don't you try to capture the
Yeah.
customer?
Now,
So
I agree. Now, let's just say, I'm gonna ask you questions. So, in this little town, Clinton, Iowa, my husband and I are kind of rehabbing this town. So we
okay,
decided to buy a building and fix it up because they're doing like this is where Bill's from. And they're doing so they're all from Clinton, Iowa, and they all moved to Houston and they all lived in Pearland. So it's like, so the whole family's there. Then he's like, I'm gonna move to Colorado. So we have Florida, Colorado, and Iowa. So this little town, uh, we came back for some reunions. And it's like a little town that, like, literally, it's on the river. Like, that time just forgot this town. And
wow,
so after, I don't know, 15 years of coming back here every couple of years, like, we ought to buy something. Like, and we found out they have like this downtown partnership alliance, and they've got grants for things, windows and roofs and things on the outside, all these grants, all this stuff. And but the thing is, none of the banks want to lend on any of the properties. The small banks, like the little National Bank of Clinton, it's like, okay, so they don't want to lend on any of these are old buildings that we're like restoring.
I see. Okay,
So they're like, oh yeah, no, that building has been sitting vacant for a decade. We can't lend on that. It's like, but literally, you have a whole downtown alliance. You have half millions of dollars in grants for things once you buy a building, the facade or whatever. But no one, there's two small banks, and excuse me, and neither one wants to lend any money to anybody.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, well, if you want people to invest in your town and you're the only bank in the town, like you should lend out some of that money to some of the people. So we actually, the first the first building that we bought from a couple that had already left Iowa and moved to Phoenix, and they just wanted to retire. It was listed for like $185. Well, we ended up buying it for $35,000 cash.
Wow. Okay.
So then that woman told one of her friends, hey, listen, the Twyfords bought this building. Next thing you know, this Carol call, she says, I got 3 buildings. My husband said for a decade, will you buy my building?
Wow.
So we called the bank, like, nah. And I said, okay, well, we'd love to, but you're going to have to own and finance them for us. The bank won't lend us any money. So she's like, okay. So anyway, the long and short is over the course of a year, we bought over 20 buildings. In this little 3 blocks by 3 blocks, this little area, we bought over 20 buildings. And after we had like the 10th building, then the bank says, hey, we'd like to lend you some money. It's like, but literally they've asked you 10 buildings. You're like, no, 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 no. And now that we have them now, so we're like, we don't want your money.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when we were trying. So now you don't get the benefit of anything. And then they ended up with a foreclosure, a block over that's like it used to be like a car where they work on cars or trucks, like giant tall buildings with all kinds of things up on these lifts that lower down in and out of trucks, and a storage unit in a parking lot. So it's like 5, 6 parcels. And they're like, hey, we have this, will you buy it? And we're like, no, we don't have the money. And they go, well, we'll lend you money. Just give us 20% down. We're like, no. Only way we take it is if you give it to us for no money down and finance 100%. And then they did.
Wow.
It's like, oh, I see. So now, but you know, we had to like work into it, and they didn't want to lend any money. It's like, so my question to you is, if someone like me, I own a commercial building and I've had it for a few months, and maybe I own or finance it or whatever, and I want to refinance and put like a long-term loan on it. Do you do things like that as well?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So it depends on, do you need money for rehab, or do you just want to refinance to get off of
I'm just giving an example, like to refinance. Like I know 20 other investors that have bought buildings all in town, and a lot of them use hard money loans and things like that. It's like, man, we need to find someone that would just refinance all of us out of, on some of these buildings. So I thought, oh, okay, now that I see that you do that, because I know 20 people that would all love to refinance their buildings. And some of them paid cash or whatever. It's like, so even if someone has a regular homeowner, they have a house and they want to refinance it because their interest rate was too high and now the interest rate's lower, like you do that as well.
Yeah. We do purchase, we do refinance. I mean, so like these properties, buildings, these commercial buildings that you're talking about, like, is this like retail, like they're open for business?
Yeah.
Like okay.
I mean, for us, some of them were open, some we're still working on. So we're actually staying in Clinton for the summer because we've got 3 or 4 buildings that we want to redo the entire outside. And so my husband bought a big ass lift that goes, I don't even know, 80 feet in the air. It seems like it's so high. Wow. He's out today. He's working on the side of the building. He's all excited. He's in his big old lift. It's like, oh my God, you are too busy. But I'm just asking because there, a lot of people, the mortgage companies don't really across the board do all of those things. Like you really are. I have not met a lot of people that do all that, and commercial and first-time home buyers and refinance. Like that really is a business. That's a great business model that you built. So.
The only thing that we don't do well is long-term standalone raw land. Like let's say it's just raw land and the guy wants to buy it and hold on to it. We have to develop something, whether it's ground up construction. We don't have any product that's good for long-term holding of raw land, but if they want to build a house or build an apartment or a building, that's okay. We'll give a construction loan. But yeah, everything that you're saying, like refinancing, no title seasoning, or getting off of owner financing to go to a commercial loan or a private loan. We can do that all day long.
That is
So
amazing.
yeah.
Where were you 5 years ago when I was buying 20 buildings?
Building the business, growing. That 5 years ago we weren't as strong on social media as we are today. Most of our business comes off of referrals and then social media. So we do I do a podcast, obviously once a week, and then we produce a lot of content on YouTube. So now we get a lot more traction. The business has been taking off. So 5 years ago we were, just starting we started the YouTube channel 7 years ago. So
Nice.
yeah. So, but no, anything that any of your subscribers, your followers, you need help with financing for anything, whether it's a line of credit, like we do no doc lines of credit, like maybe you have a rental property, you want to do a line of credit, you want to do a second mortgage, you don't want to touch the first mortgage because you have a low rate, and you want to do a second lien HELOC. We can do that with no tax returns, just using your bank statement.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of great programs out there. Or let's say that, someone wants to build their house, they can buy their land and build a home. We can do that if you're a veteran with zero down, or if you're, not a veteran, you could do it with the FHA with only 3.5% down. So, or if you're self-employed, I don't know if a lot of your followers are self-employed. We have a self-employed super jumbo program. Somebody can buy a home up to 10 million with no tax returns, no W-2s, just showing their bank statement.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, really, where were you 30 years ago when I was begging people to give me money? Now it's so funny. The tides turn. And like yesterday, I had 2 people call and say, "Hey, listen, I've got this and this and this. Can I just wholesale to you?" And it's like now my phone rings all day. People want to sell me stuff.
Yeah.
Back before, I had to like scrap to get a hard money loan to do a rehab. And now I've got 20 commercial buildings. So it's like, all right, we're rehabbing a town. This will be fun.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is. I mean, no one wants to be the first one in. It's like you have to kind of go do it, and then people see that you're doing it, and then they get jealous or envy, and then they want to jump in and be a part of it.
Oh no, I know. It's funny. Like now in this little town, it's 3 blocks wide and 3 blocks deep, so it's a small little area. But most of the buildings now have been, well, not all. There's still a few vacant ones, but they're getting purchased. But a lot of people in this town bought their buildings a long time ago, and they have like a business downstairs, and they live upstairs. So a lot of people in town are like there's a consignment shop on the corner. So downstairs is her business. She lives upstairs, and then there's 2 small apartments that she Airbnbs. So like that one little thing, like that's it. So there's a lot of people that have like a building, and a lot of people that live upstairs. Right now we have this little apartment. This is a 3-story building, and downstairs is a commercial.
Yeah.
And then the second floor and the third floor apartments, but we're just like, yeah, we just took the whole building. We're like, you know what? We've got family, we got people that come. We don't want people in my actual building with me. So we just have like pool table downstairs and a big screen and like stuff. And then we have our kids on one floor and we're on a floor. But so I guess we're sort of like living in it, but there's no business run out of this specific building. But so there's a lot of people downtown like that just have like a building or 2 buildings, and then all of a sudden we just keep buying one. Then we got 20. It's like, holy cow, what are we gonna do with 20 buildings?
Wow. That's awesome.
We're turning them all around, and we're making a hallmark town.
No, that's great. If I can help with anything, let me know. Please reach out.
Oh no, I will. I like what you do because I do podcasting and like you, and I still like to go to RIA meetings and do workshops. And one of the biggest things that people say to me is like, well, I want to work with you. I'd love for you to mentor me, but I don't have any money. I don't know how I'd get started. And I hear that all the time. And typically if there's a lender in the room, it would be just local for that area.
Right.
Or that state. But to meet someone that's like, hey, I'll do the whole country, it's like, shoot, that's a great asset for me to be able to say, hey, call my buddy Angelo, tell him Dwan sent you, and see what he can do for you, because that just opens up the door for thousands and
Oh,
thousands of people that want to get started.
right, right. No, I mean, and we have a lot of creative products. I mean, I would say that what I tell people is if I can't figure it out, no one else can.
I
So,
love that. I love that. I love that. Are you enjoying this episode? Make sure you don't miss a single solitary episode. Click subscribe, like, follow, all the things so you'll get notifications whenever time a new show comes out. And let your friends know about it too. It's amazing. All right, so if you want to learn more about real estate investing, just reach out to Dwanderful.com. I'll send you some free stuff. Back to the show. All right, so you lived on commercial too. So what if somebody, I'm just going to throw some examples. Someone is fairly new. They took like a training course from somebody. They're like, I want to buy a 50-unit apartment.
yeah.
And it's their first one. Are you going to help someone like that? You going to make double sure they know what the hell they're doing? Like, how's that going to
Well,
work?
yeah. I mean, so it's totally doable. But like let's say they want to buy a 50 unit. I mean, obviously what's going to come into question is how much equity are they going to put into it, right? I mean, because let's just say that a 50, I don't know what the price. Let's just assume it's 10 million for
Okay.
the purchase price. I mean, the question is, okay, to get to that type of purchase price, they're probably going to be the lender is going to be advancing probably, let's just say 80%. So where's the other 20% going to come from if it's their first deal? Are they going to now? And we have products where we don't source where they get the down payment. But if the person, usually the way what we see people doing is if they are new and they took a course and they want to buy a 50 unit, they normally, and again, everybody's different, but most people don't have 2 to 3 million just to put down.
They don't.
That go, yeah. So I mean, realist. Now, of course, I'm not saying everybody, but most people don't.
Oh.
So if that's not the case, then what we see is that they'll either many different things. They'll either JV or they will partner with somebody to create a syndication to raise the money. And then that's a way that it can get done from two things, from the management, because what they're looking for to finance that big of a deal is, who's going to be running, who's going to be operating. Is it a property manager? Because the sponsor, the person that's buying it, probably has never done a deal like this, or are they going to know what to do? So
that'd be my question. Like, listen, I don't care how much credit you have and how many partners you have. Do you know what the hell you're doing?
Yeah. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is the money side. Now, I will say that a lot of people, what they'll do is either, do transactional funding or down payment assistance to raise the money through a group or a syndicator. And we're okay, like, if they get outside money. I mean, most people don't have 2 to 3 million to sit in the bank to go buy a 50 unit.
They don't.
So, with that said, assuming that the person had realistic expectations, like your student or whoever's wanting to do that, like, I mean, here, of course, like if it's somebody says, well, I want to buy a 50 unit and I have no money, no credit, do all the work for me, then of course, I mean, we're not going to be able, that doesn't make sense for us. But if the guy with a lucid plan and it's like, look, man, I got this group I'm going over here to JV with, I'm using this property manager, I'm going to raise money from X, and he's got something going, of course we'll work with that. If, it just has to make sense, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that you're just so open to like small deals to large deals and anything in between.
Yeah. I mean, we will, we like helping people. I mean, our mission with the company when we first started was to, leave no stones unturned and to help people out. I mean, whether rich, poor, I mean, whatever. I grew up poor, and living on the streets. So I mean, I have no bias to what if somebody wants to buy a $60,000 house or it's a $10 million house. I mean, if I can help that person, then I think I'm doing God's work.
Amen. I'm with you. That's why I think, because when I started off as I was a single mom and I started working with homeowners that were in foreclosure, and through my divorce, I had my car repossessed and I lost my house in foreclosure. Are you cleaning your nails like right there on the
No, I'm just scratching my
I'm watching. It's like, come on, man. I'm just kidding. And so when I first started working with homeowners, and I thought, you know what? And a lot of them were women. It's like they went through what I went through. Like they totally they
yeah,
get, and I get how they feel. And so I just feel like I was kind of like just put on this earth to help people like that.
right,
Like I like to help them. I feel good about it. They feel good about it. It's a win-win for everybody at the end of the day. And yeah, so it's like you said, it's just like I don't know, I feel good about always helping people as my day in, day out thing
yeah,
I've chosen to do with my life.
yeah, and
Okay.
I think that's an important thing. I mean, that's a distinguishing because a lot of lenders, the way they are, like they'll turn your nose up if you don't make $1 million a year or you have an 800 credit score and or you're not an easy layup type loan, and I don't think that that's really the right way to be. My mom didn't raise me that way, and so I just, whatever I can do to help somebody to make their life better. I have no prejudice on whether the loan size or location or what. I mean, if I can help them out, that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, so we're gonna switch topics up for a minute. So tell me, Angelo, what is your favorite band of all time?
Ooh, I wasn't expecting to ask that. So
Well, I like to get to know the person. You can tell a lot about a person by the kind of music they listen to.
yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. I mean, I like all kinds of music. I mean, it's I don't know if I could tell a favorite of all time. I mean, there's so many. I can tell you a few that come to mind. Um, so I like U2 a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
I mean, they're awesome. You know, I mean, you're not talking about just one person. You're talking about a
it could
band.
be if you have a person, a band, an artist, or a
Yeah,
band. Just like the one person you're like, ah, this music. This is the music that my soul feels.
yeah. I mean, I like Fleetwood Mac a lot.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac is really good. Um, you know, shoot. I mean, there's so much. I love everything from there's great country singers, great reggae. I mean, that's a really tough one. There's so many great artists out there. I mean, Fleetwood Mac. Stevie Nicks. I mean, she does something to me. You know, she's
Have you
got
ever seen them in concert?
no, not live. No,
Oh
no.
man, I was like 18. I grew up in Ohio and in Dayton, and at Cincinnati they have the big stadium where the Cincinnati Reds play.
Uh,
And back then, they would have like these all day concerts. Like there's two or three little opening bands, and then there's like the main band comes on at night, and it was Fleetwood Mac. So I'm like 18, and I
wow.
already think they're great. But I'm telling you, that woman like literally changed my life because they had Eddie Money open up and the Cars and whatever, and Fleetwood Mac came, and I am telling you, when she stood up on that speaker with all that hair blowing in the wind and the tambourine and all the black outfit, I was like, "She's a
Yeah,
freaking goddess."
yeah. No,
And
it's
I was like, "Oh my god, I've never seen anyone with a higher cool factor than
yeah,
watching her when I was such a young age."
yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of good. That's a good question. I wasn't expecting to ask me that.
See, that's why we have fun. We talk about stuff besides real estate.
Yeah,
You're
it's good.
more than the sum of what you do for a living.
What's that?
You're more than the sum
Oh,
of
right.
what
I
you
agree.
do for a
I agree.
living.
I need to keep remembering that. So,
Yeah, well, people forget. Okay, now, what's your favorite food?
wow. Um, you talking about like from like a dish or like the actual
Or anything.
yeah, that's uh I mean, I can tell you probably, like a cuisine, probably Italian. I mean, be like maybe like a rigatoni with meatballs and sausage, or I don't know. Like I'm half Persian too,
Oh,
so yeah. So like Middle Eastern food is a big like big thing for me too. So I don't know. That's another tough one. And I'm in Texas, so barbecue is a big thing. So
There's a place there, and I can't think of the name of it, but you might know it. It's outside Houston. They serve these baked potatoes that are like that big, and they're just full of brisket.
uh-huh.
And every time we go there. I'll have to text you the name of it. I'm
Where is
telling you, I see. I don't know. It's enough. It's not. It can't be that far from Pearland. I have to ask my husband.
is it Killian's barbecue? Killian's barbecue? That's in,
Maybe it's a big barbecue place. You kind of go through a line. And I'm telling you, the first time we went, there's these the potatoes
yeah.
are huge. They like scoop it out and they fill it. Oh my God. I got one. My first one was brisket. I'm telling you, I thought I died. I was eating and eating, and I ate the whole thing, which
Oh,
honestly been like 3 meals. My stomach was like on fire for 2 days. And I was like, that's the best freaking thing I ever ate in
yeah.
my life. So when we go to Houston, I don't know the name of it. I need to remember it. That's the first place we wanna eat. I'm like, "No, I wanna go to the place with the baked potatoes and the brisket." It's unbelievable.
Do they have any brisket up there?
In Iowa, no. Maybe, but none I've seen. In Colorado, yeah. We have a
Yeah.
lot of we have a lot of brisket and bison
Yeah. Yeah.
steakhouses, and, there's a place called Montana, I think it's just called Montana's, owned by, the Ted Turner, I think, that has like a bunch of buffalo in Montana or
Oh,
something. And man, they serve up bison like, and I had never had it. They serve it like every way you can think of. It's shockingly delicious.
wow. Wow.
It's really
Yeah.
good. It's really good.
There-
I'm a big foodie. I love food. I don't think there's any food I don't like.
Yeah. That's good. No, I used to be a chef, so
Ooh, but Middle
yeah.
Eastern food's good. There's a restaurant we have in Denver, and you sit down on the floor, and you have a table, and they give you a towel on your shoulder, and you eat with your fingers. You wipe your towel, and I was like, okay, this is the coolest place I've ever been. It's
That's
so
fun.
fun. What's your favorite part of the day?
The night, the evening. Yeah.
Do you know that 99% of the people I interview are like, "Oh, I like to get up at 5 in the morning and work out and do this and do that." And I'm like, are there no night owls left on the earth? Because I'm a nighttime person. It gets dark. It's like you can relax. It's the evening. Like the stuff from the day is gone. And I'm 100% a night owl. I stay up till
Yeah.
2, 3 in the morning. I'm like such a night owl. And
Yeah. No, I
you're
like,
like one of 5 people that said the night. So when someone's like from the night, I'm like, I can feel you because everyone's like, I want to get 5 in the morning and go work out for 3 hours. I'm like, why? Like literally, why?
I used to do that, but no, I mean, my natural tendency is the evening. I like to, I get turned on by the evening, and the mornings are tough, so
Now I'm just saying, like, on the days that I podcast, I don't even do my podcast till noon. I start at noon. People are like, well, why don't you do like 8, 9 in the morning? It's like, well, first off, if I get up that early, I have to do hair and makeup, so that's an hour. And then I want to work out and I want to have some breakfast and I want to relax and I want to check my messages. And so if I start off right out of the gate podcasting, then it's like nighttime before I get a chance to do the things I want to do. So
right.
I'm 100%. When it gets dark, I'm like, I get excited. Okay, now what is the very biggest goal that you are working on today and for yourself or your business, and how can the Dwanderful family, how can we help you?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Right now we are, from the company standpoint, we're working on growing and scaling our business. Like we just added a debt fund for private lending, and our goal is to raise 100 million with that.
Oh,
So yeah, so we're in the middle of filing the 506c.
yeah.
We've hired a securities attorney. And I guess the biggest thing, if how you guys could help, if you have any customers or clients that need funding for their project, to think of us, to at least give us a call. I mean, the biggest thing with us is that, first off, we care. We care about you as a person. And then the second thing is, we get very creative with our financing packages. A lot of lenders, they are very difficult to work with.
Oh, yeah.
So we are going to try to figure out how to get your deal funded.
I
So
love it.
yeah, so
Now, with the
that's
506C, are you guys going to do syndications, or are you doing syndications?
we're going to have to. Yeah, we're going to have to. Yeah, yeah. So that would be the plan. I mean, we should be probably, so it's May. We should be able to start doing that probably by July. You
Yep.
know, so but yeah, I mean that's our plan is to, and this is the first time that we've done this. We've been using in our own capital, um, since prior. So this is the first time that we've done a 506c.
Yeah.
So kind of excited about it, and that's the big thing that we're working on right now.
All right. Well, our little piece of the world, we will certainly promote you. But even if you get big in syndications, you got to stay with the lending. It
Yeah,
has to be a part of your business because you're honestly, I mean, you're the only person I've interviewed in all this time that does lending for residential and commercial and all the different things. And most people don't do that, and they also don't lend in the entire country.
right, right.
So
No, no.
you
I
guys
mean,
had to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to lend nationwide.
yeah. I mean, no, the licensing is yeah. There's a lot of compliance. It's very expensive. So yeah, I mean, but it's worth it. We like it.
Yeah,
We
I
enjoy it.
love it too. And I guess I've interviewed a lot of people that do syndications. I think everybody loves them, but for the regular little newer person, that's not something that's in there they can even think about doing right out of the gate. But it's certainly something that people can work up to, or
Absolutely. I mean, like we've been in business for over 20 years, and this is our first time doing it.
yeah,
So probably could have done it before, but we wanted to build solid financials and a good track record
yeah.
before we to raise outside money. But yeah, I mean, you're going to graduate towards things, and being in the right network, I think that will help you to kind of give you the direction and guidance to be able to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so one more time, Angela, tell people how they reach you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you can call or text us 832-431-6331, or online. Official Angelo Christian is our website. We also have our social media. You can go check us out on all the social media, Angelo Christian Financial. And we're open 7 days a week, so hit us up.
I love it. So we like Fleetwood Mac and Italian food, and we like the nighttime, and you want to help all the people in the world get money to do the deals. I mean, what better thing could you ask for?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been a delight. It's great to meet you. I love your spirit and your energy, and I wish you the best and success. And if there's anything else that I can help you with, please let me know.
Okay, I've got one more question for you. But before we do that, for all of you that are watching or listening, and you all know you can watch me on my YouTube channel, Dwanderful Real Estate, or my website, dwanderful.com. And, I know a lot of people like to listen to podcasts, but it's really fun to watch and to see the people and what they look like and how they interact. So I'm going to highly suggest that you watch because, I mean, look, I am adorable, and look how handsome this man is. You need to watch us. And so if you're new, go to Dwanderful, DWANDERFUL.com. Opt in. I'll flip your way to a fortune, and I'll also send you a short sale ebook. I just don't happen to have a printed one with me to show you today. I want you to do me a favor. If you had fun today, if you learned anything new, if you laughed, or just anything at all, I want you to subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on all the socials, just like, subscribe, follow, and leave a 5-star review. I have almost 2,000 5-star reviews. So I just
Nice.
need a couple more, and you could be the one that puts me over the edge. So I want you to do that for me as a personal favor. Okay, last question of the day. I
Mhm.
want you to give us a parting word of wisdom, but only a single word.
Mm, wow. Parting word of wisdom, but only a single word.
Single word, one word.
Oh, Dwanda, that's not fair.
Ah, you can do it.
Um,
I believe in you.
yeah. Uh, um, think.
Okay, I love think. And
Yeah.
the reason I don't tell people in advance, because I think people are used to most podcasts goes, oh, give us a parting word. And you get to go into a whole spiel. But I've had people go into a 25-minute spiel. It's like, listen, dude, time. And I like to think of a word. And if you know in advance, what you do is as we're talking, you're thinking about your word.
Yeah. Or the other word I use is dream.
I love both.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If I could.
our Dwanderful family knows that think is now going to be our word of the week. So I tell people, write on a sticky paper, put it on your mirror, and think is your word of the week. So I do want you to tell us, Angela, what does think mean to you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I think that the way that we're wired as a human being, however we're created, that we have infinite power in our mind to
Mhm.
dream. And when you tap into that energy, what you can create is essentially limitless.
It
And
is.
a lot of people, they go through their whole life and they don't really figure out who they are or why they're here and their gift. And I think if we spend more time dreaming and thinking, we can find out why we're here on earth and then tap into that.
Amen. I always do like to ask people what the word means to them because it means different things to everybody. So I love your answer. I think it's great and it totally speaks to me. So, all right, everyone, you heard what
Cool.
this idea of think means, and what does think mean to you? That's your word of the week. Ponder it and think about it. So I want to thank you for being on the show
Yeah,
today.
absolutely.
I understand that time is absolutely our most valuable asset. So I always appreciate you, and I also appreciate the listeners for spending this time because there's a million things you could be doing with your time. And I'm grateful that you chose to spend it with me. So
For sure.
I appreciate you for that. And
Yeah.
everyone else will be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letters. Okay. Ciao, everyone. Bye. Bye, Angelo.
Bye. Dwanda. Thank you. Bye bye.
You just had a taste of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. So, just one more thing before you go. If you laughed, if you learned something, please leave a 5-star review. Don't be a gatekeeper. Share it with everyone that you know. And I'll see you back here next week for the most wonderful real estate podcast ever.